Happy Sunday, people. Guess who came to dinner? The Neg Mawon. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another Sit on the Couch with Dr. Triphi. Have I got a fantastic guest for you tonight? It's been a little while since I did a Sit on the Couch, but I had to come back to speak to Dr. Dale. Who's Dr. Dale? Dr. Dale Dangleben is a surgeon, an author. I mentioned Neg Mawon. I want him to explain to you what that means. A patriot, an educated man, somebody who has Dominica love deep in his heart. I've invited him to speak with me and us, and those of you who listen to me, about diaspora duties. How can diaspora, Dominican diaspora, give back to Dominica? And, how can we do that in a way that helps and doesn't hurt? What are the opportunities and what are the challenges? So I'm not wasting time. Dr. Dangleben, welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Sunday.
Hey, happy Sunday to you. I'm happy to be here with you on the couch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In,
Yes, sir.
in every sense of the word, I am kind of on the couch here, so
Very
uh,
nice. Very nice.
it's
Well, I'm
it's
looking
ther-
forward to
it,
this
it will be
conversation.
therapeutic.
I hope so. That's my intention. That's my highest intention, for it to
Yeah.
be therapeutic. Because people like you, people like me, who are on the tail end of our careers, we grew up with an understanding that we had to give back to our home. What did you grow up thinking about that? Leaving Dominica and expanding yourself all over the world, and then having a sense that you had to come back home in some form or fashion.
Well, home was always home, and it's not even a matter of coming back home. Home was always there. But I think, as you said, as we get older, we tend to gravitate. I always say we're like the salmon that wants to go home, where or the turtle that
Yes,
wants to go home. I really do believe that most of us are like that we
yes,
want to gravitate home. So home has always been there. And for example, between last April 2024 and right now, I've been home 7 times.
wow,
I
yes.
average 2 to 3 times a year.
Mhm.
Now that my parents are not there and things like that, I have to weigh what I do. But again, my commitment has always been there.
Mhm.
When I was in medical school and residency, I had no time for myself. So I
Mm.
really didn't have time to go home.
I
So
get
that
that.
that period of time, I would say that I was away and disconnected. But that
Yes.
was it.
Mhm.
From 2011 on, I have never stopped going back, looking, paying attention. And
Mm.
that's another thing. A lot of people say, what does math and chemistry and physics have to do with anything? What it has made me is to be analytical. You
What
know,
do you mean when you say that? What do you mean when you
even
say that?
even without words, because when you're in a space, you look at things that others might not see. And that's what I have done many a times when I go back home. And even the conversations with the learned, the
Mhm.
unlearned, however you want to put it, I
Mhm.
absorb certain things from everyone,
Yeah.
and I understand even those who don't even tell the truth. Sometimes you can get to one, and you as a psychologist, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. That
Mhm.
what some people are dealing with, and sometimes they don't even manifest it in words, but their expressions and suggestions and things like that. So I've been paying attention, and home
Well,
has
what are
always
some of the things? What are some of the things that you've noticed? You go home a lot more than I have, and that's a beautiful thing that
yeah.
you've been able to do that. That's a really good way to keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
So, what have you been noticing and paying attention
I
to?
have noticed pain and poverty that
Mm,
that is really palpable in the sense that we have lost a generation,
mm,
and they're not even aware of what they've lost. But we that know what Dominica can be or was can see that, right? And I pay attention to this, and I'll give you an example. I'm walking down the hill somewhere at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. It's a Sunday morning, right? And there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, right, just sitting there drinking. And even when I offer them food, they would be like, no, we want to drink, right? And these are young, impressionable people, right? Some of them I've been gone 35 years. Some of them they were not even born when I left. And that is what I'm talking about, that they're drowning the pain that they don't even know that they have. If you can see what I mean.
I understand. So so there's even a lack of awareness as to why would I be drinking on a Sunday morning.
Right. Without any fete, without any cereal, without any party.
Out of context. It's out of context.
Right. And also, I had an NEP worker come up to me and ask me for money.
What is NEP, by the way?
The National Employment Program. That it's what everyone is doing. And I said, don't you work? And she said, yes. NEP. So I said, don't you make money? But and in the same breath, she's asking me, because she's not making enough, but she's not even, there's no wherewithal of that. I'm not even making enough that I have to ask someone, for money. So the mendicancy has sort of been normalized. And that is what I see. And I think there are folks like me that see it, but are silent on it. And there
what do you think that's about? What do you think that silence is about?
Because we've that's another thing that has happened, that we've developed a culture of victimization. And that in of itself has really, really eroded what we had, which is the sense of village, the sense of community, the sense of just, loving each other no matter what. And folks are afraid. Folks are genuinely afraid. Someone said to me that their neighbor will not play Matt in the morning loud because they don't want people to know they listen to Matt, so that the power rep would find out about it.
Find out. Oh, wow.
Do you understand how deep that is?
That's very deep. That's self-imposed censorship too, right?
Exactly.
It's like, so the power rep does not even have to be standing outside of the door anymore. Nope. I will do it myself.
Right.
Because I'm so afraid.
Right. And that has to do with, I call this plantation mentality.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when the great Malcolm X talked about the house slave and the field slave, and when the house Negro would say, "We sick, massa, we sick,"
right?
It's a similar mentality. If I tell the power rep, I am in good, I'm in good with them, I will
proximity.
Get that.
We can maintain our proximity to the power.
I will get that. I'll get the crumbs that fall off the table, and that's, some of us, we dwell in that, and that's dangerous. That's what we've come to, because we've lost ourselves as a community, loving each other.
You say you've been going back and forth a lot. Did you see the shift? Do you think it's gotten better, or do you think it's gotten worse?
It has plateaued, and what I mean by that is, those who really have been feeling it have left.
Okay.
They're going to St. Lucia. They're going to St. Kitts.
Okay.
I just had a friend say to me, he left Dominica for the first time, and he was like, wow. And guess where he went? St. Lucia, right?
Which is Dominica, essentially.
Right, but what people are seeing is there is so much more going on.
Right.
But they've been bamboozled to think is going on in Dominica. right?
Right.
It's smoke and mirrors.
So what is going on in St. Lucia is tangible, practical. That person's perhaps thinking and feeling in real time that they can build a life out of
right.
that.
And honestly, that's how I felt a few years ago when I went to St. Vincent.
Mm,
It's Dominica always felt so stressful, and then you go somewhere else. I've been all over the Caribbean. I've been to Turks and Caicos. I've been to the Cayman Islands. I've been all over Barbados. It feels different, and I think a lot of people, getting back to the question, a lot of people have left.
mm,
Even young people that were supporting the current regime have realized what is going on, so they had the where they left.
mm-hmm.
And they, wherever they are, whether it's St. Kitts and St. Lucia, Turks, wherever they are, they're flourishing compared to Dominica. But
Mm-hmm.
those that have stayed, there's a slow awareness, I think, because I think the repetition of lies is sort of starting to get to them. Even the ones that don't have the knowledge and understanding are starting to put it together.
Well, what do
Because
you mean lies?
Well, all the promises. I mean, look at all the beautiful pictures of Roseau since 2014. And that's that materialized, right,
Are you
Dominic?
talking about the Roseau enhancement
Right. I'm just using that as an
project?
example. I'm using that as an example.
You said
And
2014, so you mean that's a promise that's been put out in the
many
atmosphere
such
10 years, 11 years ago.
many such promises, and people are realizing, wow, you know, and I think it has plateaued in that sense. Not necessarily improved. I'm not seeing a curve back down. It has
Hmm.
plateaued, and a lot of people have left Dominica. A lot of young people, that
Hmm.
were supporting this government and realize, oh my goodness, that's what's going on, and they left. But the disappointing thing, and I will say this here, we should never mince words when it comes to justice and truth.
And reality.
Right? People who have left, for example, and gone to Antigua,
Hmm.
where they have employment, right? Where our government are now going over there to campaign so they can come back and vote. That is immoral. That is immorality.
Why? Why do you say that?
How can you leave your country where there is no means of employment and uphill climb for you as a citizen, and go to another person's land where you are employed, and then come back and vote this part of government onto the backs of the people that you left behind? That
That
is
does seem a little twisted.
no, I call that immorality.
Hmm.
And we tend to talk about Christianity, and we tend to talk about religion, how it is the fiber of what we are. It's not. It's immorality.
So
And
almost as if instead of changing the system, I will escape. Uh, but there's still a bit of a disconnect
no, no,
because
but not just that though. I will escape, but I will take a bribe to come back and vote,
Mhm,
and then
mhm.
go back where I'm employed. Same thing with the folks that left here from America and went down to Dominica to do that.
Mm.
That cannot that cannot be right. It's unethical and it's immoral. That's the word I will use on that. But anyway, that's it for that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Clearly, you have a lot of strong feelings and passion for Dominica. As you look at this reality and you perhaps forecast, because you have an analytical mind and you forecast into the future, maybe like 20, 25 years, what do you see if we continue on this trajectory? And give an alternative vision if we make some kind of shift. And if we shift, what is the shift we need to make?
Well, we need to make a shift, period.
Mhm.
If we continue on this trajectory, we're looking at extreme poverty. We're looking at severe neocolonialism by forces that do not like us as a
Can you
people.
tell me more about that? Can you?
Well, I'm talking about the Chinese invasion, the foreign invasion.
Mhm.
People who don't like us, who will mistreat us and take us back to almost like a plantation type setting, right? Look at what the decay of, for example, Haiti, which was supposed to be a great nation, independence of 1804, and where they are now, that was orchestrated by higher powers, right? And our own people are feeding us to these wolves. And so this is the trajectory that we're on. Look at what is happening to some communities in Dominica. They're vanishing. They're vanishing, and no one is doing anything about it.
So, for example, I would think of Wesley. Are you thinking of Wesley as one of
Yes,
those communities?
Wesley, and it's not just that. Our culture. You know, I
Mm.
was listening to that show on Friday with Wadix, and he was talking about the Creole language going away. Yes, that's going away. Our whole culture is going away. Our whole culture is going away, not just the Creole language, the fabric of what we are. You know, look, think about it. We don't even have the crapo anymore, but
Right,
we have an invasive Cuban frog,
right,
right?
right, right.
Or we have all these invasive species coming in on containers,
Hmm.
right? And then you can't file cook crab back. The hypocrisy of what we're living in, right? I went to buy something from a closed container somewhere,
Hmm.
and when we opened it, there were these strange looking frogs in there, you know. And these are the ones that you're supposed to kill, right? But
Wow.
we don't sit and say, you know what? Look at what is happening to our ecosystem,
Hmm.
right? The crabs are not flooding down to the sea like they used to. The
Right.
crapo is gone, and we say, well, you know, that's how things are supposed to be.
Mm.
No, we need to protect our culture,
Well, what is the
right?
shift? How do we balance modernization? So the Chinese have come to, we've been told, help us build an airport. How do we preserve our culture within that framework? I
That's
mean, also, as you talk about the Chinese, our students are being taught Chinese now at the state college. I
yeah,
don't know if there's a
and
Creole
there is
class for
nothing
children.
wrong. There is
Hmm.
nothing wrong in learning a new language, you know,
Nothing.
and there is nothing wrong in somebody coming and teaching us, right? But that's
Yes.
not what's happening.
Mm.
You're not teaching me how to build. You bring in your own workforce,
Mm.
right? So every 10 of you, there's one Dominican working. You
Hmm.
know, that is not sustainability for our people, for our
Hmm.
culture. And therein lies the problem. You know, and then you ask, what would I like to see? Would we love to see that we are self-sufficient people, that everything that our forefathers and foremothers fought for comes to fruition,
Hmm.
right? Where all these promises of renewable, affordable energy can
Hmm.
come through, so you don't have to pay all this money to them, like,
Right, right, right.
right? That an island that has an abundance of water, that you don't have to pay for water,
Hmm.
right? Talk about a modern healthcare system,
So
getting
you
back
are a
to,
healthcare professional. You are a healthcare
I could
professional.
transform that healthcare system. And I'm not saying that, I'm not being braggadocious. I'm just
Right.
it's not that difficult to do on a small island of 67,000 people,
For sure.
right? Our education system has become a fraud, and let me expound on that. It's easy to say, and again, that is a political game that's played with education. In a lot of countries, no one left behind.
Mm.
Everybody moves forward, right?
Right.
That is a political ploy, where everybody goes to school, everybody goes to college, and then what happens? The trades have gone to the wayside. You don't have carpenters, you don't have masons, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have these trade
The
people, and now
plumbers,
you
the
say, and then
electricians.
you turn around and you say that the people are lazy.
Mm-hmm.
You give them the hope that everybody could be an academic.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I meet people where they are, and I don't look down on people because they didn't go to college or they didn't go to university, right? Because there's a lot of brilliant people that I know who did not go to university, who does not have a degree,
Right.
who could do so many great things with their hands,
For sure.
right? We've lost that, and we've told an entire generation that you're not good enough. That and that is the most detrimental thing that you could do to a people, is tell them they're not good enough, so I'm going to bring somebody else in that's better than you. Talk about that mental slavery.
Well, I mean, what does sharing prosperity then look like? I mean, because you were talking about the NEP worker who is working a full-time job, but who's asking you for help.
I met with a group of people and I explained to them the shared profit model. And they really liked it, because right now they're not making ends meet. Right? I don't care how much duty free and VAT you put on corned beef and things like that. People are not they don't have a good living wage, right? To make them sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna go out this weekend and have some sushi. I'm exaggerating, but I'm gonna go out and have a nice, filet mignon. I'm gonna have a nice steak. People can't do that.
Some nice fish on the beach.
Exactly. So the shared prosperity has to be understanding each other from a business standpoint, where everybody, not everybody, but most people has a shared profit aspect of it, right? So, for example, Dominican is supposed to be a public traded company owned by the government or some cockamamie, I don't know what it is, right? You could entice people to put $5, $10, and get some return, get some dividend back on that, and explain that to the next generation, so they understand the money, they understand the trading, right?
And they'll be participating. They'll be more active participants in the process.
Exactly, and make the education more of a quality and directed towards the different niches that can make them prosper. If you have a young kid that's IT focused, let him flourish or her flourish, right? Teachers, there's so many sectors that we've lost because we did not, because of cronyism, nepotism, and favoritism with politics. We put all these square pegs in round holes and things like that, and create opportunities for entrepreneurship, right? So people don't have to migrate.
Right.
Figure out what Antigua is doing. Figure out what St. Vincent is doing. Figure out what St. Kitts is doing, and implement these things in Dominica, so some of these young kids can stay. Exactly. Right. Again, the brain drain will always exist, but what we have to do is make it such a place where people would want to stay.
And as we talk tonight, how about to return? A place where Dominicans who are in the diaspora will want to return. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. What untapped potential do you see that Dominicans who are in the diaspora, their skills, their resources, how can they participate in that flow? Because it does seem like the flow is all out, like the water is gushing out. All the resources are gushing out.
And the current regime has made it 10 times worse, right? There's doctors, there's lawyers, there engineers. There's so many of us out there doing great things, transformative things out in the US, Canada, Europe, and places like that. But we've not been engaged. The only ones that have been engaged is the ones that kiss the ring, right? So what that would have to look like is an organization, right, supported by the government, whatever that means, that makes it that you can come and work and do things, leave, create a system to engage us and use us to educate and fill a gap then. So for example, I'm a surgeon. Right. I'm the chief of surgery. I'm a trauma surgeon. I do endoscopic surgery. I do laparoscopic surgery, right? Use that skill set, right? engineer, you as a psychologist, look at the lack of care that we have with mental health. And I don't even know what the suicide rate is now. It's too high for such a small country.
It's too high.
And
it's too
all
high.
of these things, all of us come together. They've flirted with this idea of a diasporan minister or something like this in the past. I don't even know if it exists. But they flirt about it, they throw it out as, I think, a gimmick, election gimmick. And then, they come up here, they meet with certain people, but then it becomes almost like a cult. Like, you have to kiss the ring. And they don't like people who are very objective and can think for themselves. But that's what makes us successful out here.
It sharpens the system.
Exactly. It's what makes us successful out here. If I was this, hermit crab in a shell, just scared of myself, I would not be as successful as I am.
For sure.
You could say I'm vociferous and I'm loud, and that's okay. But you know what?
The skills.
I know what I know.
That's right.
When I'm in my space as a surgeon, I know what I know.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Well, why do you said to work in tandem with the government? Why is that important? Like, why would you not just go down by yourself to do it? Why do you?
No. I said they should have policies in place.
Why do they need policies in place?
Because ultimately the government is responsible for putting policies in place. So no matter who's in power, that can be guarded. Right? And
right.
You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's not saying that we have a group of diasporans that belongs to this party or that party.
Right.
It belongs to Dominica. So whoever's in power, we tap into it. But we have to be able to work with the current, with whatever government is in power. However, I will say this. This current government has been obstructive in doing that because they don't like the educated Dominicans like myself getting involved, because what are they scared of? That we will open the minds of the people that have been bamboozled by a group of people who wants to stay in power indefinitely.
Well, why do you say that? Like, what? I mean, do you have evidence of this?
Of course I have evidence of this. I applied for my license in 2012. I have all my communications with Timothy since 2011, and it clearly states. My first communication. I said I don't want a penny from Dominica. I don't want a salary. I want to give back. Right? I've spoken about this ad nauseum. I talked about the deal that I had with Olympus. Olympus is one of the biggest companies in the world with cameras and optics, and they wanted to partner with me to bring an endoscopic suite to Dominica. Right? I met with certain people. Right? That fell through the cracks because they told me in 2012 or 2013, the Chinese is going to build it. They never built it. Right? They never built it. So when people are talking their garbage on social media and on the media about I wanted favors, I don't need favors. You see, and that's another thing. They don't understand how successful some of us have really become up here by using our skills, because they're in that mud where they have to keep begging the government for everything they need. So they feel, Dr. Dangleben is angry at the government because he didn't get what he wanted. No, I wanted to bring an endoscopic suite to Dominica, and my proposal clearly stated back then that some people would have to pay for the endoscopy or the colonoscopy, but those who could not afford it, we could either have the government subsidize it, or it would be a socialist type setup, right? And I know people would hate that word, but it would work for the Dominican people, and people could get their colonoscopic screening, the endoscopic screening, and we would.
What is that? So for the layperson, what does your endoscopy and your colonoscopy save you from?
Well, I mean, first of all, colon cancer, right? Colon cancer screening is the big thing with colonoscopy. Early detection, you get a polyp, you snare it, you send it to the pathology. If it's precancerous, if it's just in the polyp, you're done.
Right.
If it invades into the colon, you can remove that part of the colon. You're good to go. It has not invaded deeper than that. And the upper endoscopy, people who suffer from a lot of, gastroesophageal disease, people who have early esophageal cancer, people who have, stomach pathology, right? All these things. That's what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, one of my friends at the time, she had really bad GERD, and she said to me there was no one in Dominica to do it at the time. And that's what got me, because I knew the Olympus people, because I was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where the factory was at the time. And that's how I made the connection, right? She ended up coming to Florida and going to the emergency room there to get treated. And I'm talking about, what 13, 14 years ago? So
wow.
when people say...
meaning 13, 14 years ago, realistically, there could have been an endoscopic suite and access to endoscopies and colonoscopies in Dominica.
Yep, and those people have moved on. All my contacts at Olympus has long gone. That died in but I have many more examples of things, and I was trying to work within the system, and that's when I started realizing, there is some sort of obstruction here, and I was trying to understand what it was, and then I saw it for what it is.
Which is?
They do not want intelligent Dominicans that could pose any opposition to them in their midst. Either you with them or you out.
Well, that's a big hurdle for somebody in the diaspora to overcome if they wanted to share their skills.
Well, so there's ways around it, right?
Okay.
Because I'm talking about 2012. I'm still here.
Right.
Those who want to pray for me can pray for me. And other things that's being said on social media, who are saying that I'm trying to make money, and with ridiculous. I'm still here, meaning that we need to keep pushing at it, no matter what. But we need to come together, not just one. We like to go at things alone.
Yeah.
We love to just go at things. There are times we have to come together.
Strength in numbers.
Right. And it does not have to be in Dominica. You see what I mean? And there are several things that we can do to start helping our people. Right? So, like I started patient choice. And I can tell you, man.
What is patient choice? Tell us about patient choice.
I'll tell you about it. But if I was a weaker person, patient choice would not exist today. Right? The thing about it is, patient choice is over-the-counter medicine wellness place that you could come and get things. And this is what I told them. I told this to the Minister of Health, and I told this to all my other quote-unquote friends in this government. I said, I have access. I said, I have access that I can help my country. I'm not talking about Point Michelle, I'm talking about the country.
People.
I could supply every clinic and every hospital in Dominica right now. I have access. They like that, right? And I kept quiet on the mammogram machines that I sent. I think this is a nice time to bring that in, because there were no mammograms in Dominica. I sent down 2 very, very expensive pieces of equipment, right? Did I do it for the government? Absolutely not. I did it for the women of Dominica, right? Right? Where do you go when you need a mammogram? Maybe there's 1 or 2 private. Exactly. I have access. And what we have to do is, if they don't want to work with us, we find our way there some way, somehow, knowing that we're going to be victimized. Just think about it. When Bala, Bala struck many times. Bala ended up being killed.
So tell us, you got to tell us who's Bala now, for the people who don't know who's Bala, because a
Well,
lot of
Dominicans should know
Dominicans
who
don't
Bala
know
is, right?
Bala.
Bala, Jacko, these guys were runaway slaves, right?
Runaway
They were
slaves,
they were
Maroons.
they were true Neg Mawon,
That's right.
right? Mabuya, right? Congare.
Yes. Yes.
These guys were relentless,
Yeah.
right? Many of them died. They,
Yeah.
I think Kwashi got hung. Bala head ended up on a stick,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Just imagine what this, if this guy, think of the Maroons in Jamaica and
In
Dominican,
Jamaica.
all these places.
Mm-hmm.
If they just said, you know what, that's it, we're done. We're gonna
We're gonna do it one time.
run away. We're gonna run away once,
Yes.
and that's it, right?
Yes.
It's not like that. So we cannot just say, listen. I heard somebody saying that I'm begging to help. Come on, man. Wrong choice of word.
How would you phrase it?
I'm a Pan-Africanist, right? I'm a Gaviite.
Mm-hmm.
Gavi talked about economic empowerment and self-determination,
Right.
right? You know, pretty much, you know, if you don't know your history, you don't know who you are.
Right. And you've got to learn to care for yourself, provide for yourself.
Right. So if we have that attitude that we're going to forget our history, we're lost. There is no hope for us.
Right.
Right. So you have to stand your ground and say, you know what? And I've said it many times. My mom's gone, my dad's gone, my bro's gone, but Dominica is my country too. Dominica does not belong to them.
Right.
Right. If you wanna arrest me, arrest me. If you want to take from me, try to take from me. But we have to stand together and we have to stand strong with a purpose, right? This attitude of saying, oh, Dr. Dangleben should just walk away and leave these people alone. Could you imagine? That is given into the agenda of those who don't like us. This is given into the agenda of the house Negroes, like Roosevelt Scarrett, who's doing the bidding of the new imperial masters. We cannot afford that to happen. Not as a black people who've gone through everything we've gone through. We cannot let that happen. And we've lost ourselves in this sea war and everything that we're doing, that we don't even talk about God. We've forgotten about Jacko. We've forgotten about Bala. Right? We've forgotten those who fought in the 60s and 70s. Right? I see people who were Rastafarians who I used to look up to. And I used to give a lecture called The Rastas Were Right. And I see people who influence me now are drunks, no dread on their head, drunk on the side of the road. What has happened to that philosophy? What has happened to that philosophy of black is beautiful, our empowerment to be strong, to be who we are? We out there just shaking our ass. I mean, that is detrimental. That we've lost the whole generation that does not know what it means to be black.
So you just described what it means to be a Neg Mawon, to have that philosophy.
Well, that's the true sense of the Neg Mawon. The way I define the current Neg Mawon, I use that term up here in the United States to define what I became. And what I mean by that is I came into a system that was bent on breaking me. And I defeated it.
Right.
That is what a Neg Mawon is.
Yes.
Listen,
so that's an energy.
The obstacle that I faced to become a surgeon in this country was horrific, horrendous. I put it in my last book, Immigrant to Surgeon. I put it all there. I have another one coming. That is what a Neg Mawon is. Defining the odds.
Yes.
Overcoming the obstacles that's been placed in front of you by a system.
Yes.
A system. And that's what's happening in Dominica. It's a system.
A new system.
Just now, the only thing in Dominica is the system is run by people that should be like us, that grew up with us in the countryside, that didn't have shoes on their feet and didn't have a piece of bread to eat before they went to bed in the evening. And now they're stripping us naked.
Well, sometimes I wonder if because of the vehicle, the mission was accomplished easier. Like the people looked like us. The people looked like us, and it almost overtook, like it snuck in, you know.
That's
It was,
historic, though, right? Remember what they did to Marcus Garvey? The same W.E.B. Du Bois that we hold on a pedestal was one of the traitors against Marcus Garvey, who later on, this country, this is a little bit of history, took his passport away from him for 9 years because he went to Russia. They thought he was a communist, right? And then when he got his passport back, he missed Kwame Nkrumah's great in Ghana. When Ghana became Ghana from the Gold Coast,
right.
But that's where he ended up going into exile.
Exile.
When he reformed himself. But Garvey, when the SEC came for Garvey, it was black people that took Garvey down. When he was deported back to Jamaica, he was in the jail in Atlanta. So we are known to do that to each other, right? We just cannot afford to sit back and say, well, such is life, right? One of the most detrimental things that has happened to us as a people is religion.
What do you mean?
Because we always say it's God's will.
Let it be, let's forgive. Let's turn the other cheek.
And we are the most forgiving people, right? And we just say, let it go, let it go. And the whip is on our back, and it's on our back. And they can come, and foreigners can come to Wesley, and Wesley can be no more. And we say, oh, let it be. And our triviality, the looks of people, how they look, their pimp, the superficiality, right? I walk the streets of Dominica and people are talking about Lacoste and Air Max and consumerism and materialism has destroyed us. The same way it destroyed the African Americans. These are facts. People might don't want to hear this, but it's true. People who I know cannot afford to have 3 meals a day or wearing $200 US shoes in Dominican.
Wow.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, let me ask you this. That's a lot, Doc. That's a lot. Neva is here. Neva was teasing me. She said, come on now, Dr. Triphi, because I was acting the part of the one who doesn't know, so that you can. So she was teasing me. But anyway, but she's bringing up some great points. She said,
well, Neva is in the health field also.
Yes. And she says she's had her fair share of hurdles. So Neva, I'm guessing you've made attempt to contribute as a diasporan, and probably you've hit some of these hurdles. That's very disappointing and frustrating. She also adds the health insurance is an issue. Lack of health insurance is an issue.
But you see, because everything, 25 years of promises is nonsense. The people need to wake up, right? Nothing has been established. Healthcare is in the toilet. There's no health insurance system, right? The question that they asked me when I finally met with the medical board was, like, how are you going to serve Dominican? And I said, and people ask me, when am I going to see patients in the hospital? I said, it doesn't work like that. I said, I'm an expert in my field. If I'm in Dominican and there's a difficult case, and a surgeon needs my help, I will go scrub. Right? But what I said to the medical board is, I have access. They're like, what do you mean by that? I said, I can bring stuff you guys have not seen. I have stuff in Point Michel right now that they have not seen. Right? That is what we need to do.
And it would seem like that would be welcomed.
It's smoke and mirrors. The same way Neva, the same way she's saying, when they go on their platform and they say, they will, come my children. That is not true.
In reality, you're saying.
in reality, they don't want us to come.
Mm. Well, how
Right?
can we come? Well, how can we go anyway?
We need to form an organization outside of Dominica, which represents different sectors. We need to understand the system in which we dwell, which is the United States, and how money works. That's one of our biggest downfalls. Is not being fiscally responsible and financially sound. But if we come together and we form financial institutions and put our money together. I'm not talking about susu. I've given lectures about that. That's just a hamster on a wheel. How to understand the stock market, how to trade, how to understand
grow money, how to grow money,
right?
To grow it,
and then we can go back and fund small businesses, right? We can approach the farmers. We can approach the fisher folks. We could encourage people to do cooperative.
Can invest in their project.
Right. I'm talking about investment and break that cycle. So that's what they're scared of.
So what you're saying is now the fisher folk, the farmers, would have alternative access to funding to create, to build.
Those who sit and wait for aid are victims. They're victims of a circumstance deliberately created by a political machinery. That is what I call plantation economics.
Right. I get that.
You see what I mean?
I get that.
Right. So when I come to the fisherman, and the fisherman gives me, I say I need a fish. People always talk about, teach a man to fish and blah, blah, blah. No. Buy him a boat, buy him a net. Then take that fish, find a market for it.
Yeah.
Then share the profit.
Right. He can pay you over time.
These are the things that we need to do as diasporans. Right? But we need to pull our money. Black people, we don't put our money together. Everyone else is doing it. People up here buying Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's and making millions of dollars.
Gas stations.
Right. But as soon as I come with an idea to build finance, people say, oh, he wants to take our money.
Right.
No, I have my money already. I'm just trying to create generational wealth for you. I have created what I've created for myself.
Right.
We don't do community wealth. We don't understand that. We're so jealous of each other. We're at each other's throats. And these politicians have made that 10 times worse, this plantation politics and bullshit.
Jealousy is actually fear, though. Jealousy is actually based on fear and anxiety and not knowing enough or not thinking I have enough of an understanding to figure out how to do it myself. So often the jealousy is in that, and lack of self-efficacy. I don't think I can do it, and I don't know what to do. And so I just shut it off because I feel afraid.
Right. And they've compounded that. They've compounded that fear. Right. And that's why the victimization, right?
Right. I completely understand the plantation economics term you're using, because you're describing a system where if you're not inside of the clan, inside of the group, you have no access to even the economic system, even to loans. You're stopped from getting loans and positions and promotions.
But that's how Susu started, It was Black women, who took it upon themselves because we didn't have access to banks.
Right.
So they came up with this idea of the Susu. But what I'm trying to say is, you know what? I'm not telling you forget the Susu. Let's use the same mentality and make profit.
Take it up a notch.
Take it up a notch.
Yeah.
So, but we have to pull our money.
Right.
We don't own banks. We don't own credit unions.
Right.
We don't do these things anymore. Right. Instead, we find money to go to the next fete.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to investing $5 into something, and we're very reactionary, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I have told some, people that in Dominica, I said, oh, somebody's house broke down, they need, can I donate 500? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I donate this? Can I donate that? Somebody needs, I said, we should not be waiting for these things to happen.
Right. There should be like a community fund already existing. Yeah. And you can
Exactly.
apply and you can pay it back at a 2% interest or 3% interest or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Something
And now the government
small.
has a new thing going right now as we speak. They're selling land cheap.
I heard that.
So you spend all these years,
Mm-hmm.
you spend all these years telling Dominicans, I will build you a house.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not going to give you the deed
The
and everything.
title. Mm-hmm.
Now you're saying, oh, let's forget about that. There's land now.
Mm-hmm.
We were always the people that wanted our land to build our house.
Always.
To plant our fig and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
You took that away from us.
Yeah. Always.
And this whole idea of you're gonna break my legs and give me crutches and I have to thank you is it's madness.
It's kind of, well, actually the word you use is correct. It's diabolical. It's like literal madness. Like it's literally madness.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But they've squeezed it into 25 years that a whole generation has been lost.
Do you think also that people who could have intervened maybe kept hoping, well, with this next election, clearly this system is going to change, let's just wait. No?
Those too many of the people that could have intervened themselves
became part of the system.
Were corrupt.
Yeah, they
were corruptible. So they got corrupted.
They're corruptible.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Those who were on the streets screaming, "Scary, it must go," are now in
the
right.
Yeah.
What does that say about your moral fiber?
Mm.
How do you look at the next generation and say, I did something meaningful? Right? Or how do you look back at your ancestors and said, I did something meaningful when you sold your soul for nothing?
Do you think?
Right?
Do you think they were just so overwhelmed? Like, I wonder. Like, I try to generate compassion.
No,
and wonder,
there's no compassion. There's no compassion for greedy people.
Do you think they just couldn't take it anymore? Like, do you think it broke them? Like they were too.
Well, yes, I do believe there are people that have been broken, and I think a lot of these people have fled or died.
Right, from the stress. Yeah, I agree.
But those who folded for 30 pieces of silver, no, absolutely not. No.
Well, it is a painful state of affairs, a painful reality, depending on who's looking. Yeah, depending if you're outside of the circle looking in, it feels painful, probably. But I think some people went into the fold to escape the pain, and like you say, some people left and they escaped the country itself to escape the pain. Let's keep talking about diaspora. That idea of coming together is a powerful one. It's a powerful one because you're working outside of the system. It's like you've admitted, well, let's not wait any longer, because 25 years is a long time to wait for an administration to be welcoming to diasporans supporting the people of Dominica. So you just got to realize, well, this is not going to work. You got to do it in a different way, especially since another party has not been able to win elections for all the other reasons, the similar reasons that the system is still in place. I mean, we know the reasons why, some of the other reasons why the existing government continues to win. Yeah. I guess I want to ask you, in addition to that, like cooperating,
Mhm.
coagulating, coalescing economically, financially, what else, what other ways can diasporans contribute to Dominica? Because I see you doing it with
Yeah,
Patient's Voice.
yeah. It has to be, like I said, I talked about the group phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to come as individuals also.
Mm.
And at least every 2 years, if you can, you should. You should
Mm-hmm.
go down and give your community back something, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a book that you
Mm-hmm.
give to a child,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's something you bring for the soccer team or the basketball team, engage, speak to them, listen to what they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
That is called engaging on the individual level, but
Right.
you will gain so much in terms of information and insight, like I did. So
Mm-hmm.
then you can come back, and then you could analyze, right?
Analyze.
Because what we need to do is, okay, we want to keep our culture, we want to keep our country, but at the same time, we need to bring some of the stuff that we've learned, the expertise,
Mm-hmm.
to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to give my lectures at PSU on an annual basis, right? And I used to give the lecture, like I said, I used to give a lecture on marijuana, and I used to
Mm-hmm.
give a lecture on the Rastas were right, and we talk about the health stuff, right? But then you walk around
Mm-hmm.
and you do things. Last November, I didn't have MO news and all that stuff when we walked the entire breadth of Point Michelle. It was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Melvina and Nurse Kate and I, we went
Mm-hmm.
to every elderly that was on our list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you were UWP, Labor, Pappy, whatever you were. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
care. We went. We brought Pampers. We brought pain cream. We brought whatever they needed. And then the next day, I had a list of things that people needed. One lady needed a seat collar. Another guy needed a brace for his knee. We went back and we
Mm-hmm.
gave back. So talking about doing things to that level, it's not me
Mm-hmm.
begging to be. No, it's not about that. It's
Mm-hmm.
about giving, but at the same time analyzing, because it's going to make you more reflective.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make you sit and think, you know what? Aha, that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you can go back and say, you know what? I have a group in Pennsylvania, or I have a group in New York.
Right.
Maybe we
Right.
could do a little more as a group,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the thing.
So you
Even
get a clearer understanding, a better assessment, a better
better
assessment.
assessment,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can decide if this is for you, because
Right.
this is not for the faint-hearted.
It's not for the weak. It's not for
Because
the faint-hearted.
I had to go back 7 days after I came back because my container did not make it, and then
Mm.
I had to go back for 8 days to clear my container, and I spent over $40,000 to
Wow.
get my container off the port.
And you're talking about a container with mostly materials for like medical supplies.
I had a large set of medical supplies for the hospital. There was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of communication for several months. And don't forget, I sent them the 2 mammograms,
Right.
a lot of stuff for the hospital, and that's all I wanted. I didn't want him to pay for my stuff. I had
Right.
stuff for patient choice, which was
Mm-hmm.
going to benefit. And I told the ministry that with patient choice, I don't want a penny leaving Dominica.
Wow.
Right? I want to employ people. I want that
Mm-hmm.
money to circulate. That's something we don't do. Our money does not
Mm-hmm.
circulate. Even right now in Dominica, with all the foreigners, they're sending the money out. The money is not
Right.
circulating in our
Right.
economy. Right?
Right.
So I went back down to clear my container. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm everybody knows I'm fixing my dad's house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I had stuff in there for that. I wasn't asking you for money. I have my own money.
Right.
Right? I wrote my check. I got my container. People talking about I was there begging for favors. I wanted them to give me for the hospital
Yeah.
that you people need.
Yeah.
I brought things that the people need. I brought on 5 wheelchairs, right?
Mm.
I brought on 5 wheelchairs, and my plan was never to sell any of the wheelchairs.
Mm-hmm.
Within 3 days, people were begging me to buy the wheelchairs. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I see there's a need. Right? There's a lot of needs that I wouldn't even talk about on this platform. Yesterday, I got 3 consults from Dominica. Every day, it's something new. I don't ask these people if they this or they that, or if, you know. No, you're Dominican. I'll answer your question. I will try to help. Right? But getting back to what I was saying, it's not for the weak-hearted. They stretched me on that thing to the last minute, to where the PS of health said to me, the last communication, what is it that you don't understand?
Spoke like that to you?
And even the port kept saying, you sure you
An adult?
Yeah. You sure you don't want to wait? I said, no. I got to go back. Let me get my container out. There's the money.
So that sounds as if they were punishing you for wanting to help, though. That feels like punishment.
It goes back to something I talked about. It goes back to that whole idea, right? It's a farce that they want us to come and help. Maybe some people genuinely want that. Some people do.
Right.
But they don't want that because what do you want? You want the people to remain in mendicancy.
So systematically, it's
political expedience, if you want to put it that way. It keeps people in power and control.
Right.
So how dare me come in and interfere with that when I am doing it? Somebody sent me some, and people need to stop sending me this thing. Screenshot of somebody saying, "Oh, I dare to make money. I have a free Mac." I told them I don't want a penny. I'm good, right? That money stays in Dominica. I have people working. I'm paying them. That money is circulating. I have spent more money than, and I'm gonna say this right now on this platform. I have spent more money in the last year and a half in Dominican than any of these ministers in this government. I have spent a lot of money in Dominica. I haven't put, even the furniture in Patient Choice was built by a local person.
Local.
I told him I wanted the wood.
Yeah.
From right. Everything I do, my father's roof, I got a young man from Point Michelle to do it. Right? I wouldn't say how much I spent. But I'm putting money into that economy. I'm not taking money out. Dominicans need to wise up when they attack their own.
I don't think they understand at all. And I think never is trying to help them understand.
No, it's not that they don't understand, because there's some very devious people in the womb of this government.
I think it's intentional.
These Chinese folks are sending the money out of the country. All the foreigners that they bring in and giving the high position jobs over Dominicans are sending the money out of the country. That is what's happening up here to us as a people. Our money does not circulate in our neighborhood.
Right.
And we're failing decade after decade. What are we doing? And then somebody who looks like us, who should have been us, is doing this to us. And people want to sit there and point fingers at me, trying to think that I'm trying to take money out of Dominican's mouth. No, the people that have done that to you and doing that to you are the ones that you keep putting into power. We keep voting. Same thing up here. We keep voting against our own
interests.
Yeah.
Our own interests. But if you could change any policy tomorrow, what would it be? If you could change a policy to make it easier to serve, to make it easier to give back, to make it easier for diasporans to give back, what would you do? What would you?
To have in the implementation, almost a law that would allow us to do it freely, legally, without individual government obstruction.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Because everything goes through one channel in Dominica. And it shouldn't be like that. You see what I mean? So if that could happen, where you embrace somebody, a diasporan or diasporan group, without favoritism, without nepotism, without cronyism.
Right.
Say, you know what? They have the best interest of Dominicans in mind, the country in mind. Let's bring them in, right? And
Right.
let us see. You know, they have to work within the boundaries of the law, obviously. But let's give them that opportunity. That is not how it works. And that is where diasporans are gonna have to, like I said, we have to be strong. We have to stick together on this, right? Like-minded people. We can't just throw in the towel and say, you know, well,
Forget about it. It's too hard.
No, and I told them I'm not giving up.
But that you can understand that temptation though.
To give up?
No?
that giving up is a form of, well, I mean, be careful how I say that. Sometimes it's a form of weakness.
It is, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
When I was a security guard in New York, making $5.25 an hour, and I got promoted for $6 an hour, and then things started to happen where my education was not going to be priority.
Yeah.
Right? If you throw in the towel, you've made a conscious decision to limit yourself,
to say yes,
and limit the future of somebody who could be like you.
For sure.
You see, and you asked me about legacy, and that's what legacy is.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So throwing in the towel, then what? Right? Then what? I read a lot. See, I read a lot of books, and sometimes I say, man, maybe I should not have read so much, huh? But what it has done is it's opened my mind.
Yes.
Right? To the ways of the world, not just as we see it today, but how it was yesterday and how it could be tomorrow.
And how we can create it, how we can actually shape it for tomorrow.
Right. But it has also given me a look into the historical aspect of being a Black man, and also religion and how I shape myself within that scope, you know, and where my spirituality lies and things like that. So there's a lot that comes with it, right? So you have to know, you have to be comfortable with yourself when you say I'm throwing in the towel, right, and you have to live with that.
Yes.
Right, and that's all well and good. You know, I could, like the last time when I was dealing with the container, or even the time before that, you know, I could have been in the Mediterranean. You know, I could have been in Greece or somewhere having a nice, grilled octopus and you know, a roast, you know, branzini. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But again, it's you. You have to deal with, I don't know what the psychological term is.
We're working out our own salvation, you know, so we're deciding what is bringing me fulfillment.
Right.
So you are deciding, what do I want my legacy to be? And that might mean I have to stay in that fight, depending on my intention for myself.
I wrote a poem 7 years ago called Consciousness.
And, you remember it?
And in it, no, it's out there. In it, I talk about. I said my legacy is already set, and I said I've laid down my burden at the river, and you know, and the beast with the 7 heads. I that's gone, right? The sloth and the gluttony and all that's gone, right? And legacy is that's Dominica. I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. This is not my legacy.
Right.
My legacy is already set in such a way that Dominicans would not even understand
for sure
what I'm talking about.
For sure.
And I'm not even gonna get into that. You know, there's so many things coming out this year that will just be all part of that. I have a massive textbook coming out that I never dreamt of in my wildest dream under the tree. in Point Michelle. Another book from McGraw-Hill coming out. And when you talk about it, I'm talking about a surgical atlas.
Yeah.
That's going to be all over the world.
Yes.
And I have all these professors from all over the country who've written chapters into my textbooks. It's going to be this big.
Right.
And talk about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah. That is set.
Folks don't understand that. But they want to be in pettiness about, oh, I didn't get to practice in Dominica.
Yeah.
You know, and not understanding the detriment when
Dominica,
when poor health visits you and your family in Dominica. You know, this young girl called me yesterday, you know, and I spent 15 minutes on the phone talking to this person, you know, because I took the call. Yeah. You know, and folks don't realize that, you know, why it is I do what I do. So my legacy has nothing to do. Dominica has nothing to do with my legacy. So
what is your why? What is your why?
What do you mean?
You said folks don't understand why I do what I do. So what is your why?
Because I am really embedded in this idea of Garveyism. And I 15 years ago I never thought like that. But it's a transformation. As you get into it and you understand that you're bigger, there's something bigger than you. Right. And you could go back to that legacy thing. But when I started to read, because when I grew up listening to Rastafarianism, their understanding of Garvey was skewed. Because I had an understanding of Garvey as, you know, it's when I came up here I started reading about Marcus Garvey. What was the difference? What did you think about him? Because he was just Marcus Garvey and associated with Rastafarianism. There was no depth. Yes. Right? Okay. And then I started understanding, you know, the whole idea of
what he was teaching.
The philosophies and all that. Yes. Right? And the whole Back to Africa movement, right? There was so much to it. But what I admired about him is he was not just a talker, he was a doer. Because he owned the newspaper. Yes. He owned the printing press. Yes. He owned the Black Starliner. Yes. Book, right? But he was derailed. He was derailed. Right. The point that I'm making is that's the why. Yeah. When you've tried, I'm careful with this word. I use the word transcendence. And you have to get to a point where you're looking down. For sure. Not looking down on people. No. But looking down on perspective. Perspective. And I feel that I have transcended to that point. Yes. That I can go into Harrisburg community. I can go up on the hill where the people get shot and I can meet with folks. And go down to that point. I could sit on the corner and eat a bag pudding and a manikou. Right? You get to that point where, but some people who have not gotten to that point, they become what I call elitists. Yeah, they haven't done the work. They haven't done the inner work. They look down on people. You know, it's a misunderstanding. Exactly. Misunderstanding. So when you transcend to a certain point, you see your time here differently. For sure. Right? And you're no longer fearful. Yeah. You see what I mean? So it impacts your choices. Exactly. So I always, you know, I always tell Nurse Kate, you know, I've transcended. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm like Enoch, leave me alone. but yes. There's more to it. Yes. You see what I mean? And folks are like, well, why do you do everything that you do? How do you do it? Right? I do it because I have transcended. And in some people's mind, they might say, "Oh, Mr. Fool, man, Mr. Crazy." Right. But it's a matter. It's timing, right? It's control, right? I could sit on the medical executive committee. I could be in the operating room, for sure, right? But I could be in Poré by Gustav having a nice braff and a nice manikou, and I could be hanging out, right? It's all me.
For sure.
All right. And that's what a lot of folks need to understand. I'm not saying you have to transcend. You should try to, because it makes you a better person. It
makes you more yourself. Makes you who you really are.
Right.
Here,
And
really.
You get gains you never expected. You get things back that you never expected. So that's my philosophy on that.
Well, Doc, woo, that's beautiful, eh? That's beautiful. So we're getting ready. We're starting to wind down. We're ending about 9:30.
All right.
I want to know your thoughts on this as you're in the Garvey frequency and the Enoch frequency. If Garvey and Enoch were sitting here with us, what ideas might they give us about how we unite Dominica, how we get on one accord, how we get onto that trajectory we were talking about, right? We talked about, well, if we keep going this way, we see poverty and all of this stuff. But if we, what could this other path look like if Enoch and Garvey were here?
Well, yeah, I don't want to dwell too much on Enoch, but Garvey.
Yes.
I think that, you know what they would tell me? You need a change of government. And I know that sounds very, simple, but it means a lot.
For sure.
And the intellect of these guys. I talk more about Frantz Fanon than I would talk about Enoch, because that's more modern day. They would Fanon and Garvey would explain the pathology of the mentality of what's happening in Dominican.
For sure.
And I know Fanon was a psychiatrist from Martinique.
Yes.
He died very young. Influenced Steve Biko and many of them. He wrote the what did he write? Blackface, White Mask. Right? And he talks about that. So that's what he would say. He would talk about the pathology of the mentality, and then he would say they need to go. So we could start
a reset.
Yeah, we could start over, knowing the mistakes,
having learned
of what has not just not worked, but has been detrimental in the last 20 years.
For sure.
Right? And let us focus on agriculture, tourism, right? And agriculture and tourism in Dominica should be married. Right? Right? And honestly, I mean, I like what his name is doing at Jungle Bay. But that's what all of Dominica should be.
For sure. I
forgot Sam
Raphael.
Right? I like what he's doing there. But that's what all of Dominica should be. Dominica has some of the most fertile soil in the Caribbean. We should be the bread basket of the region.
For sure.
Right?
And we used to be.
We used to be. The healthcare was the best. So if I had a conversation with Garvey and Fanon, and I could hear them saying that we need to start anew, right? Knowing that what we have, right? And getting rid of the poison that has been placed in our nature island. And when I say poison, I'm talking about
the mindset.
The mindset has been poisoned.
For sure.
Right? Because we think, man, I like a good time, right? I like a little seawater every now and then. But the poison is part of that also.
Yeah.
The continuous drinking.
It can be the hedonism. It's gone to hedonism.
It's too
pleasure-based. Yeah.
So that is what we would be able to do. We could transform agriculture in Dominica. We could transform the water industry.
Yes.
Just imagine how many waterfalls we have, right? Geothermal has been going since 2000, so long, not a spark of electricity, right? And people are paying up and down Domrec. Electricity is getting cut once a week. This is such chaos. Chaos. But chaos should be able to reset things. Because
Yeah.
I also wrote another poem where, we came from chaos,
Mm-hmm.
but we should get to the point where we control
Mm-hmm.
chaos. And
Right.
we've not been able. The only people that benefits from the chaos is the people in power.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting back to your original question, the answer is new mindset, new people
Fresh one,
in
new
yeah,
one.
who love Dominica, not
Yeah.
pretend, who
Yeah.
goes on the mic and say, I love my people, I love my
Right.
country. No,
Right.
that is not true. If
Yeah.
you love your country, the trajectory would have been different.
That's right. That's right. There are certain things you would never have done
Yeah,
if you truly did
yeah,
in
yeah,
your country. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause We,
That's
we, we,
powerful.
we were sold for a bag of rice.
Yeah, we've been hurt. We've been hurt
Yeah.
as a collective. We've been very hurt as a collective.
And not just the people on the ground.
Yeah.
It has really
It's spread.
obstructed those of us diasporans who wanted to do so much for our country and
We
for our
were looking
people.
forward to this time
Yes,
of
you've
life.
obstructed us from helping our people.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. That's very ill. It's very
Yeah,
pathological. It's very ill.
yeah.
It's very ill.
Hmm.
Well, if every Dominican watching tonight could take one small action in service of this new, uh,
Hmm.
this reset, what would it be? This reset towards a better future. What would it be?
One thing,
Mm-hmm.
to be more civic responsible. We've lost that.
And what would
There
that
is
look like?
showing up for your rights,
Mm-hmm.
showing up when things are wrong
Right,
so they can be corrected,
for sure.
not sitting back and being complacent when there's gross mismanagement and gross criminality
For sure.
taking place
For
right in
sure.
front of you, that you're so blind to it.
For sure.
You don't see what's happening, that your whole morality and culture and everything has been eroded and
Mm-hmm.
taken away from you. So civic responsibility is what I'm calling for. There is so much more that
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about. The village mindset, the
Mm-hmm.
community of us. Can I have a cup of
Helping
sugar?
each
Can I have
other.
a cup of flour? We were like that.
Good
That's how we
man.
grew up. Where
Mm-hmm.
the old lady next door could slap me if I said a
Mm-hmm.
swear word,
That's right.
and my
That's right.
mother would still slap me,
That's
you
right.
know,
That's
and we
right.
were not so divided,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
we were not scared of helping each other.
When nobody was hungry. Really, nobody was
No
hungry.
one was hungry,
Nobody was hungry. And
right?
I read a report by who? IMF or somebody, the world, some world organization recently that said there's about 25% of the people are worried about their food
Right.
security.
Because they don't understand what they have,
Yeah.
right? Mango making labu, tamarind making labu, passion fruit growing crazy.
Right.
You have no factory in 25
Right.
years to create a juice. Instead, you importing diabetes. You're importing diabetes in a bottle from two neighboring islands. I'm not going to mention their name, and that's what has addicted the young generation. And we not tapping into the fruits. I see gooseberries just falling. Could
Mm-hmm.
you imagine a government
I
in power for
know.
25 years and you have not one juice factory?
Yeah.
The
On an
only one that
island
you
like
had,
this.
the only one that you had is no longer,
Yeah.
right? You've built what, 20, 50 hotels
Yeah.
and not one juice factory.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things that we need to sit and say, you know what are we doing? Right? We importing all these fake diabetes drinks. We
Mm-hmm.
already have an obesity
Sugar.
problem. We
Right.
already have a diabetes problem. And we're drinking these drinks. I'm not going to mention the names.
Straight
From
sugar though.
from
Straight sugar.
straight
Like
sugar,
basically sugar shots. Yeah.
and we have our people selling their juice out the back of their cars,
Mm-hmm.
and you couldn't give the people a factory to gain full employment, have our own pump seeded juice that we could export to
Right.
Antigua and those places
Right.
that don't have water.
To make
And
money.
you want me to sit there as an educated being, a learned being, an academic, and say, you know what, that's okay.
Go along with it.
If I go along with it, what does that make me? That makes me dishonest and immoral.
I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like I think a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's you're right. I mean, what do we produce? What do we produce? And these are the things that I'm calling on the diasporans. We need to come together, put our monies together, and start building factories in Dominican.
Yeah. Doing it ourselves.
Doing it
And
ourselves.
pushing against the inevitable resistance that must come.
Listen, you will walk those steps. You will walk those steps of Roseau,
Yeah.
where they have the nepotism and the cronyism and the favoritism people working there with their bouet face.
Mm-hmm.
But don't let that break you. I've been up and down Roseau. Go there, go there. Oh, it's not ready. It's not this. It's not that. Oh, rejected.
Yeah.
They will do that. They will frustrate you.
Right.
But you have to be strong-willed and stay focused. But I'm saying you, but it has to be us.
Us.
If there's 10 and 20 of us,
In
let
groups.
them come against us.
Mm-hmm. In groups.
Right? And you know what they're gonna say? Well, he's on a podcast talking this. No. This is empowerment.
For
This
sure.
is self-determination.
For sure.
This is what we need to get our people back to.
For sure.
And we have to come together, put our monies together. Right? These guys were able to control the electorate and the elections because of monies they
Monies.
period. And they use the money to make the people mendicant.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Mm-hmm. Well, Doc, you gave some really powerful ideas here. I really love the communal group-based approach because that's who we are. That's how we helped each other build our little homes. On Sundays, people would be rolling the little houses on the logs, doing kudme, moving their houses from here to there, right? Planting their gardens together. This week it's me, next week it's you, and everybody ate. Nobody was hungry.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate your ideas and your thoughts tonight. Final words for the people.
Well, I am appealing to anyone who has the wherewithal to do good and be honest and don't be greedy and focus. 1, 2, come together, find somebody who's like-minded, and let's build these groups that I'm talking about, right? And go back home once in a while and start understanding what's happening, right? And then we're going to start funding these small businesses. Get these folks up and moving away from this mendicancy that has destroyed the entire generation. If we have to focus on a younger generation, so be it. It's about taking back the soul of our country. It's about getting back to civic responsibility, as I mentioned before, but we have to do it together. I cannot say more to those down there who I know better, who gave up their soul for some pieces of silver. Shame on you. Woe unto you, right? Because we come here with a heart that says forgive, and that is what has destroyed us as a people. We're too forgiving. And I will end with this. I am who I am because of the struggles that I've been through in this country. I am a Neg Mawon because of what the struggles I've been through in this country. I have overcome a lot in this country, the people who did not want to see me succeed. So why would I be afraid of my own countrymen who would try to stop me from helping my own people? I do not want a penny from any Dominican. I have made my fortune. I am trying to give back to a community that I love, that
Mhm.
raised me for 21 years. You can try to stop me, but I will keep coming. And that's what I want to end with.
The end. We're going to end on Petra's wish and her highest hope for us, all Dominica born people, people who have love for Dominica. Petra says, I hope we can work together today and in the future as one voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's what we got for you all. Donc, parler a lot fois. I hope we gave you all a lot to think about and consider. And we'll talk another time. Peace.
Peace.